Imagine a world waking up after a long, deep sleep. This is what the Renaissance was like. The word Renaissance is French, and it means rebirth. It was a special time in history, from around the 14th century to the 17th century, when people started to see the world in a completely new way. Before this period, which we often call the Middle Ages, life was very much focused on religion and survival. The big ideas and beautiful art of ancient Greece and Rome had been mostly forgotten by many. The Renaissance was the moment when Europe rediscovered these lost treasures of knowledge and creativity, sparking a fire of curiosity that would change everything. This rebirth was not just about looking back at the past. It was about using the wisdom of the ancients to build a brighter future. Thinkers and artists began to believe in the power of human beings to achieve great things. This new way of thinking is called humanism. It placed a new value on human experience, on individual talent, and on the world right here and now, not just the afterlife. People started asking big questions again. What can we learn? What can we create? How does the world around us actually work? It was an exciting and sometimes turbulent shift from a world dominated by faith to one driven by human potential. The change was felt everywhere, from the grand halls of palaces to the busy workshops of artists. It was a cultural movement that swept across Europe, bringing with it a fresh wave of energy and optimism. People were no longer content to just accept what they were told by old authorities. They wanted to see, to study, and to discover things for themselves. This spirit of inquiry led to amazing breakthroughs in many fields. It was a time when the boundaries of what was thought possible were being pushed further and further, creating a dynamic and vibrant new chapter in human history. So, the Renaissance was much more than just a collection of pretty paintings or old books. It represented a fundamental change in how people saw themselves and their place in the universe. It was a declaration that humanity was capable of brilliance, beauty, and profound understanding. This powerful idea was the engine that drove an incredible explosion of art, science, and philosophy. The echoes of this awakening, this grand rebirth of the human spirit, can still be felt today, shaping the very foundations of our modern world and how we think about our own potential. The story of the Renaissance begins in Italy, specifically in the bustling city-state of Florence, during the 14th century. Why Florence? This city was a perfect cradle for this new dawn. It was incredibly wealthy, thanks to its powerful banking families, like the Medici, and a thriving trade in wool and silk. This wealth meant there was money to spend on things other than just basic needs. Powerful patrons, like the Medici family, could afford to pay artists, architects, and scholars to create magnificent works. They wanted to show off their power and sophistication, and they did so by investing in culture and beauty. The political structure of Florence also played a crucial role. It was a republic, a place where citizens had a say in their government. This created a competitive and ambitious environment. Families and guilds vied with one another, not just for political power, but for prestige. Commissioning a stunning new chapel, a breathtaking sculpture, or a grand public building was a way to earn respect and leave a lasting mark on the city. This rivalry fueled an incredible demand for talent, drawing the best and brightest minds to Florence and encouraging them to produce their most innovative work. The city itself became a canvas for this explosion of creativity. Furthermore, Italy was uniquely positioned to reconnect with the ancient past. It was, after all, the heart of the old Roman Empire. Ruins of grand Roman buildings were everywhere, a constant reminder of a glorious history. Scholars known as humanists actively sought out and translated long-lost ancient Greek and Roman texts that had been preserved in monasteries or had arrived from the Byzantine Empire. They uncovered writings on philosophy, science, politics, and art that offered a completely different worldview from that of the Middle Ages. This rediscovery of classical thought provided the intellectual fuel for the Renaissance fire. From Florence, the Renaissance spirit slowly spread, like ripples in a pond. It moved to other Italian cities like Venice and Rome, and then, over the next 2 centuries, it traveled north across the Alps into France, Germany, England, and beyond. Each region adapted the Renaissance to its own culture, creating what we call the Northern Renaissance, which had its own distinct character. But it was in the vibrant, competitive, and wealthy city of Florence where the first seeds of this great cultural rebirth took root, growing into a movement that would eventually reshape the whole of Europe. One of the most visible and breathtaking changes during the Renaissance was in the world of art. Artists broke away from the flat, symbolic style of medieval art and began to create works that were incredibly realistic and full of human emotion. They studied human anatomy, dissecting bodies to understand how muscles and bones worked, which allowed them to paint and sculpt people who looked truly alive. A new technique called perspective was developed, using mathematics to create the illusion of three-dimensional space on a flat surface. Suddenly, paintings became like windows onto another world, with depth, light and shadow that made them astonishingly lifelike. This was the age of giants, artists whose names are still famous today. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, a true Renaissance man. He was not only the painter of the mysterious Mona Lisa and the dramatic The Last Supper, but also a brilliant scientist, inventor and engineer. His notebooks are filled with incredible drawings of flying machines, anatomical studies, and botanical observations. Then there was Michelangelo, a sculptor of immense power and passion. He saw his work as freeing figures that were already trapped inside the stone, creating masterpieces like the magnificent statue of David and the awe-inspiring ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome. But the revolution wasn't just in art. It was happening in science and thought as well. The Renaissance desire to observe and question everything led to major scientific advances. Nicholas Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, challenged the long-held belief that the Earth was the center of the universe. He proposed a radical new idea that the Earth and other planets actually revolved around the Sun. This discovery fundamentally changed our understanding of the cosmos and our place within it. At the same time, the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg in the 1440s was a true game-changer, allowing new ideas and knowledge to be shared more quickly and widely than ever before. This new way of thinking also transformed politics and philosophy. Writers like Niccolò Machiavelli looked at politics not as it should be, but as it really was, analyzing power in a direct and realistic way. The focus shifted from a world governed solely by divine will to one that could be understood and shaped by human action and intellect. This emphasis on observation, evidence, and human agency laid the essential groundwork for the scientific revolution and the enlightenment that would follow in the centuries to come. The Renaissance truly opened up a new universe of possibilities, both in the heavens and in the human mind. The impact of the Renaissance was profound and long-lasting, fundamentally reshaping Western civilization and setting the stage for the modern world. Its greatest legacy is perhaps the very idea of individualism. Before the Renaissance, a person's identity was largely tied to their community, their guild, or their social class. The Renaissance celebrated individual genius, talent, and achievement. The concept of the Renaissance man, a person skilled in many different fields like Leonardo da Vinci, became an ideal. This focus on human potential and personal worth is a cornerstone of modern thought, influencing everything from our education systems to our belief in personal freedom and self-expression. The changes in art and science during this period also had a permanent effect. The techniques of perspective, realism, and the study of human anatomy developed by Renaissance artists became the foundation of Western art for the next 500 years. Similarly, the scientific method, the idea that we should rely on observation, experimentation, and evidence rather than just tradition, has its roots in the inquisitive spirit of the Renaissance. The courage of thinkers like Copernicus to question established dogma paved the way for future scientific discoveries and the technological world we live in today. The Renaissance taught us to look at the world with curious eyes and to not be afraid to challenge what we think we know. Furthermore, the political and social changes that began in the Renaissance continue to influence us. The rise of powerful city-states and the study of classical models of government led to new ideas about politics and statecraft. The spread of knowledge made possible by the printing press helped to create a more informed public and eventually contributed to major social and religious shifts, including the Protestant Reformation. The Renaissance planted the seeds of a world where information was more accessible and where ordinary people could engage with the big ideas that shaped their lives. This was a crucial step towards modern democracy and a more literate society. So why does the Renaissance still matter now? Because it was a time that defined what it means to be modern. It was a period that championed the power of the human mind, celebrated creativity, and pushed the boundaries of knowledge. Whenever we admire a realistic painting, read a classic book, study a scientific theory, or debate a political idea, we are engaging with a legacy that began over 600 years ago in Florence. The Renaissance reminds us that curiosity is powerful, that beauty is important, and that a rebirth of ideas is always possible. It is a testament to the enduring power of human creativity to change the world.